What if the chaotic dance of hundreds masked a deeper tragedy? The dancing plague of 1518 captivated the imagination of not just the townsfolk of Strasbourg, but also the world, stirring a whirlwind of controversy and questions that linger to this day. Could it be that the ultimate twist in this bizarre tale was not just the spectacle of dancing, but the potential tragedy of lives lost in the throes of mania? The outbreak began in July 1518 when a woman named Frau Troffea started to dance fervently and uncontrollably in the streets of Strasbourg. According to Ned Pennant Rea, Frau Troffea had started dancing on July 14th on the narrow, cobbled street outside her half-timbered home. As far as we can tell, she had no musical accompaniment, but simply began to dance. Some of those who had witnessed her strange performance had begun to mimic her, and within days, more than 30 choreomaniacs were in motion, some so monomaniacally that only death would have the power to intervene. Troffea kept up the constant dancing for a week, and soon 36 others joined in. By August, the dancing plague had claimed 400 victims. Dancers were beginning to collapse, and it is said some even died from strokes or heart attacks. No one understood what caused this reaction nor how to remedy it. By early September, the outbreak began to subside when the dancers were sent to a mountain shrine to pray for absolution. Historical documents, including physician notes, cathedral sermons, local chronicles, and notes from the Strasbourg City Council, confirm that the victims danced, but they do not explain why. Sources agree that an outbreak of dancing occurred after a single woman started it, and the phenomenon lasted long enough to attract the attention of authorities. The council initially gave authority to physicians who prescribed that the afflicted dance themselves free of it. Some sources claim that guild halls were refurbished to accommodate the dancing and musicians were hired to keep the dancers upright. However, this backfired, forcing the council to ban public dancing as many believed it was punishment from St. Vitus. To free themselves of sin, more people joined in on the epidemic. The council went so far as to ban music altogether. Those who danced were ordered to go to the shrine of St. Vitus, wearing red shoes sprinkled with holy water, holding small crosses and surrounded by incense and Latin incantations as part of a ritual to seek forgiveness. Apparently forgiven by Vitus, word spread of a successful ritual, and the dancing plague came to an end. Yet, controversy exists over whether people ultimately danced to death. Some sources claim that during the outbreak, around 15 people died each day, but the city of Strasbourg's records at the time did not mention any fatalities. There are no contemporary sources that confirm actual deaths. Waller, the main modern source for the claim of fatalities, found that the accounts of deaths came from later accounts. The identity of the initial dancer, whether Frau Troffea or another nameless woman, remains debated, as does the number of dancers involved, which some sources put between 50 and 400. What could have driven these people to dance themselves to death, or at least to the brink of it? One compelling theory suggests that the epidemic may have been triggered by food poisoning from ergot fungi, which can grow on damp grains like rye. Ergotamine, the primary psychoactive component, can produce effects similar to those of LSD. The same fungus has been implicated in other historical anomalies, including the Salem witch trials. However, Waller argues that this theory falters under scrutiny. If ergotism were the culprit, would the afflicted have been able to dance for days on end? Would so many individuals have exhibited identical reactions to the poison? He noted that outbreaks predominantly occurred along the Rhine and Moselle rivers, suggesting environmental factors but also differing climates and crops. A more persuasive theory is that the chaos stemmed from stress-induced mass hysteria. The inhabitants of Strasbourg were beleaguered by harsh conditions, starvation, disease, and rampant superstition, all of which could have compounded into a psychological storm. What if the dancers were not just seeking joy, but were expressing their collective despair through an uncontrollable release of movement? This theory aligns with other historical instances of psychogenic illness, where groups exhibited synchronized bizarre behavior driven by fear and collective trauma. The phenomenon of chorea, a condition that involves random and intricate movements, could have swept through the crowd, infecting others with the compulsion to dance, creating a cycle of chaos fueled by heightened psychological stress. The dancing plague of 1518 remains a vivid illustration of how the human mind can respond to overwhelming adversity. It invites us to ponder the fragility of sanity and the thin line between joy and madness. It reminds us that sometimes the most profound tragedies unfold in the most unexpected ways. The cultural resonance of the event continues to inspire artists and creators. The short film Strasbourg, 1518 by Jonathan Glazer and Florence and the Machine's haunting choral song Mania illustrate how the echoes of this extraordinary tale reverberate through time, infusing modern media with the spectre of the past. Fictional interpretations such as The Dancing Plague, a collection of utter speculation, further weave the tale into the fabric of contemporary storytelling. Could the madness of dancing serve as a mirror reflecting our own collective anxieties? As we delve into this story, we are left not only with the curiosity of what occurred, but with a chilling contemplation of our own capacity for both joy and despair.